Joining me now from House Armed Services and Foreign Affairs Congressman Cory Mills. Great to see you again, Congressman. Thanks for being here. I know it's kind of a sidebar to this whole thing, but it really gets me that Spain is going to be recognizing a Palestinian when they have two regions in their country who've been fighting for independence for decades, the Catalans and the Basques. Is anybody going to ask them, when are you going to recognize the Basque state? Or when are you going to recognize the Catalan state?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, the hypocrisy has no bounds, right? And then you've also got all of the surrounding areas within the Middle East who won't even take in Palestinian refugees. I mean, you look at the wall that's established by Egyptians, and even though there's 600 tunnels underneath it, I mean, this is a nation who understood the risk and the threats. And so I think it's absurd. But I mean, you also have the same thing when it comes to the international crime tribunals, where they're trying to equivocate, you know, that somehow what Hamas has done and what Israel is doing with their right to defense of their own nation is equal in a way. And so it's just right now what we're seeing is just absolutely unprecedented in how we're treating the Israeli state and how we're seeing an increase in anti-Semitism here at home. Well,
meanwhile, it's not stopping the Israelis from going after Hamas. They're determined to do so. They went into Rafah in order to do something that they were told they wouldn't be able to do by the Biden administration, that is to evacuate citizens there. The Wall Street Journal wrote about that. They said today, for months, the Biden administration bitterly opposed an Israeli invasion of Hamas's last stronghold in Gaza. The mantra was that Israel had, quote, no credible plan to evacuate the city's 1.3 million civilians, yet the Israelis went ahead anyway, and 2 weeks later, they have safely evacuated an estimated 950,000 people. So they're on their way to doing what they need to do against Hamas.
Well, you're exactly right, David. Look, they've had a plan from the very beginning. If you listen to the War Cabinet Secretary, Gantz, if you listen to Benjamin Netanyahu, if you look at the methodical way in which the IDF have been clearing things since the beginning of Gaza, we know this had nothing to do about an increased threat to casualties and collateral damage, as the Biden administration said, and everything to do with them withholding arms to Israel while providing the aid that they claim is going to the people of Palestine, which is falling into the hands of Hamas. This was about buying votes. He saw what happened in Michigan, where he had 13.2% uncommitted. He saw where he's under in the polls to President Trump, and he's trying to see if he can buy back because he's seeing this radicalization on college campuses, thinking that's potential voters. He's seeing how he could try to flip Michigan. The IDF has done a great job. Even his Undersecretary of State has said that she doesn't see where there's any genocide or any unlawful acts that's been going on. The Department of Defense has said the same thing, and I think that the IDF has a right to not only defend their state, but to eliminate a terrorist organization, Hamas.
Well, there are people on our campuses, including the leaders on our campuses, presidents of universities, who do see genocide in Israel. And here's one of them, the president of Rutgers, being questioned by some of your colleagues in Congress. I just want to play that and get your reaction. Roll it.
Do you think Israel's government's genocidal?
Sir, I don't have an opinion on Israel's in terms of that phrase.
You do not have an opinion as to whether or not Israel's government's genocidal?
No, sir. I think Israel has a right to exist and to protect itself.
Do you think Israel's government's genocidal?
I think Israel has a right to exist and to protect itself, sir.
What a coward. I mean, that's just cowardly. He knows the definition of genocide. Genocide is trying to wipe out an entire race of people, and that's not what is happening in Gaza. It's a horrible war. Innocent civilians are getting killed. That's terrible, but it's not genocide, and he knows it. He should know it, what the definition of genocide is as a president of a university, right?
Look, bottom line is he knows it, as does all these other college presidents that even Elise Stefanik has called out. The reality is this: they're all pandering to the radical left, the same thing as this administration is doing, and it's a dangerous precedent for our students, for the Jewish people who are scared to actually go to classes, and for the nation.
Cory Mills, we got to leave it at that. Great to see you. Thank you for your work in the Beltway
and
outside of the Beltway. Some of the most important work you do is outside the Beltway. Appreciate it.